Excellent. Hello, and a very warm welcome to all of you, all the participants and the panelists who are present here. My name is Samir Talwalkar. I'm the head of filmmaking at Seamless Education Academy. We are a school of pro expressionism, and we have courses in sound engineering, filmmaking, game design, game development, and journalism. And we have recently launched our PGDM program, which is a postgraduate diploma in management, in media marketing management and media production management. And in fact, we are kickstarting the course by having a very prolific uh, panel of speakers over here today uh, who are going to basically give us a brain dump of how their respective industry ecosystem is going to work. So I promise I'm not going to speak a lot today. I'm just going to let the speakers speak and just explain us the ecosystem, how their respective industries have coped up with the pandemic situation, and what's the way forward. Because a pandemic essentially in the beginning stopped a lot of things, and we thought that what's the way forward? But the industry innovated, they invented new ways of working. Thankfully, it was also an opportunity to get new technologies in to make our lives simpler. People started working from home. The music industry, the VFX industry, even the film industry, everyone found a way to work remotely, and we all adapted to the technology. So we should be giving a round of applause to all the media professionals who are here, who are not just riding the wave, but who are really spearheading the changes in the media industry today. I'm just going to introduce our panelists one by one. We have Yojana Bahalkar Bhave, and Yojana is the head of programming at Shemaru Entertainment, and she has been in the industry for a very long time. She's a media professional with training, professional expertise, and a comprehensive experience of 15 years in creative roles. She is into programming strategy, ideation, conceptualization, and she has worked with established names like Z Entertainment, Viacom 18, 9X Media Network, and ETV. She has also revamped Z Talkies. Anyone who is familiar with the Marathi film industry would know that name. And she has also launched 9X Jakas. So thank you so much, Yojana, for joining us.
Thank you, Samir. Thank you.
And my apologies if I've missed something, because your portfolio is really rather large. So there's no way that I can really cover it.
Yeah.
So thanks so much for joining us.
Yeah.
We have RK Chand with us as well. Uh, Chand has been he's a personal friend, and he's also the executive producer and business development director, who has worked with a lot of big names in the VFX and CG industry. Right now, he's the executive producer at Trace VFX, which is part of the Technicolor Group. He has also founded Golden Robot Animation. You may know the name Chota Bheem, and he's the name behind it. He has produced the full-length feature film of Chota Bheem, which released a couple of years ago, Chand, if I'm not wrong. And he has been associated with Digital Studio, UTV, Maya Entertainment Limited. He also launched and ran his own portal, CG Tantra, which was a go-to portal for all VFX and uh, CG artists, producers. It was an entire ecosystem. So thank you, Chand, for joining us on this panel. We look forward to listening to you as well. Uh, then we have Puneet Samtani. Uh, Puneet is an accomplished sound engineer and music producer, and he really dabbles with all genres possible. Uh, he has over 12 years of experience in recording, mixing, editing, and production of music for mainstream feature films, music albums, radio, digital, TV commercials. He has worked for background scores for over 20 feature films, including Slumdog Millionaire, 127 Hours, Ishaqzade, Rockstar, Shaitan, Bhool Bhulaiya, you name it. His advertising pedigree as well is really huge. I'm panting after just just giving you the lowdown on what our panelists have done. And last but not the least, we have Mohit over here, and Mohit is a music composer, lyricist, and producer. He has worked with, he has operations and project manager with NPG Music, a UK-based uh, award-winning singer, producer, Nikhil Paul George. He was the head of music content at Tunebox Studios, co-founder at Sam's Cafe, and you name it. I mean, I would rather suggest that you go to his LinkedIn profile because it might take 15 minutes just to say it. So thank you all for joining us, and let's kickstart. I mean, really, I want to throw open the conversation just with a very generic question that can you explain the ecosystem in your respective industries? I mean, where we were 20 years ago, how did it develop after that? Obviously, the key milestone, or rather, I would say the key disruption happened when the pandemic hit us, COVID-19. And after that, we thought that everything is, probably is going to shut down. There was a lot of losses in businesses, but then we somehow found a way of going forward. So uh, I'll just throw it open, and Yojana, if you would like to go first, I mean, you're open to.
Yeah, so hi everyone. It's really nice to connect with all of you here. So, as Samir mentioned, let's have an open conversation because I guess these days, I mean, since we are referring pandemic, it's a very dynamic role right now what media is playing.
Hmm.
So, how to look at the media sector, that is also very important. Post pandemic, pre pandemic, how was the situation? Since I'm coming from television industry, I would like to talk about it more. I'm proudly saying here we launched our channel before 1 year in January 2020, where pandemic didn't start. So immediately after 3 months, we faced the pandemic. So we are the one who got benefited a lot due to pandemic because all people were at home, and it was a great thing for us. So we could achieve the highest GRPs during this period because
Right.
people were at home, and to entertain them was a big challenge. Because being a movie challenge, so basically I'm working with Shemaru Marathi Bana, which is a Marathi movie channel. It's a regional movie channel. So basically, movie channel actually played a very vital role, I can say, in this pandemic because original production for other television shows were on hold
Hmm.
due to pandemic.
Right.
So the only thing was, I mean, available for people was movies. So
Hmm.
for us, it was a very important thing to showcase ourselves, to present ourselves in front of audience, and that was a real test, I can say. And we really sailed through that very well because we had our huge audience base. We have seen the highest GRPs in this period. Uh, I guess we are the first channel in regional sector at least who has crossed the 150 GRPs after the launch in just 4 weeks.
Wow.
That was a big thing because generally channel takes good enough time to get registered and then to have loyal viewers and all that.
Right.
But all thanks to pandemic that we could do that in a very short period.
Right. Right.
So yeah, so this was the thing.
Excellent. I think I know it's a bit of an oxymoron to say that the pandemic was a great thing that happened to the industry
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
because we all found ways. And Chand, you and I were also speaking yesterday a little bit about what we're going to speak, and you also mentioned that there has been like this paradigm shift in how we look at things now, and how even the role of executive producers or managers has changed over a period of time, because VFX CG, I guess,
Yeah,
is a very coordination managerial driven industry where there is, I mean, if you shoot something you can do a retake, but with CG you got to just get it right, and
right,
if you render it out then it's going to cost lakhs, crores, I don't know how much.
right.
So obviously, Chand, if you want to throw a bit of light on that, for you, how the curve has been in the last 20 years and especially after 2019.
Sure, Sam, thanks. So first of all, clarification. Chota Beam is made by my dear friend Rajiv. He's behind it, Rajiv Chalika. Shemaruga is a big fan. They're very close. So I'm not taking any credit behind Chota Beam, but yes, we did work on a movie a couple of years back. It was its first adventure into a 3D space to make something really high end, and I think it is doing great in all the platforms that it is now, and I'm very happy that I could do that. Uh, well, at heart, I'm a creative producer who is trying to balance the technical and creative and the managerial part of it. As I was telling you, Sam, earlier, that I think our business of animation VFX is like running the restaurant. I think we spoke about it, that the chef can be as good as he can. He can take ages to make the perfect khichdi in there.
Right.
But if you don't have a manager in the front who is managing the guy on the table,
Yeah.
then khichdi pakti rahegi. You know, like, so someone has to ensure that this is the right fit to go there.
Right.
And over the period of last 20 years, when it was the same creative director or the same artist was trying to manage and balance the time to a schedule to the creativity, I think different specializations have been created in order to work this as a team. Again, animation, VFX, and filmmaking is no longer a single person's play. It's a team play now, and for a team play to be in there, you need different kind of people in there. I feel in the last 20 years that I have been doing this, and I've been trying to explain to people, my parents, like when we do what we exactly do. I think the best that we can come up with, that this is the golden time, the best time to be in this content industry. I think we are all from the content industry as such.
Yeah.
1 year back, yes, there was a big dip primarily because most of the films went on hold, the shoots were not there, but animation really, kind of picked up because there was nothing stopped. There are shows which were in live action and the last part was left. The thought process evolved. There are shows that changed to use animation as the final sequence and not go to live action. As of now, I think VFX is being treated as a part of filmmaking rather than just special effects to add enhancement. I think VFX is an integral part of how to shoot something now because of the pandemic also, where you can't travel, you could create virtual environments where you can't have two actors together and to maintain social distancing. They're using technology to do. In fact, we're promoting safe to shoot protocols and how VFX can be used over there.
Right.
So I think from where we were a year back and where we have to fight for getting VFX in it, now people have started thinking projects with VFX, with CGI in mind. And it's all fueling innovation, whether it is digital humans, whether it is new way of producing, whether it is remote production, which is where the requirement for production management comes more.
Right.
It's all in the play. And for us as a large organization, being part of a group of Technicolor, which has multiple brands and multiple VFX studios, I think is very crucial for us to understand that this is one of the key important parts of the creative process. So,
wow.
Golden period, I would definitely say, absolutely golden period for content business.
This is what we have been waiting for.
I will not use the oxymoron, whether COVID or pandemic, but I think it is a golden period.
Exactly. I think I remember, I mean, when I was entering the industry, my parents said that why do you filmmakers and creative guys feel the exact opposite what the society is feeling? If the society is sad, you guys are happy, and then vice versa. And I guess this is a very good analogy that this is why we feel the opposite, because we want to maintain that balance in society.
Filmmakers and stock market, even the stock goes up in depression.
Now that's getting very dark. Let's steer away from that. But yeah, Puneet, I mean, do you agree with that? I mean, we are someone who actually, when the world stops, that is sort of our opportunity to shine. And I think the music industry as well is no different.
Yeah, I think we are in the business of entertainment, right? So if people are down, they look at entertainment to cheer them up. So, I mean, see, things have constantly been evolving, right? So when, like, as musicians, when cassettes stopped, then CDs came over, piracy, then digital, people had apprehensions, then came streaming platforms.
Yeah.
So, but the thing is, you have to adapt to all these things to make the best of it. And now I think it's really good because see, studios were anyway shrinking, right? Like smaller studios, people were working out of their home setups anyway. So it was not that that was not going to happen with the real estate costs and the amount of time it takes to travel in Bombay, especially
Right.
just to go for a 1 hour recording will probably take you 3 hours to commute and back. So with this, it's kind of kickstarted, and people are more welcome to work remotely. And even when you look at content, like any movie or any OTT show being made is being dubbed in 4 or 5 different languages simultaneously, because now it's just not India or Maharashtra that you're looking at. So even if you have a Marathi film, you're looking to for a viewer in France to maybe watch it at some point.
Right.
So things have in a way become such that the opportunities and the dimensions are just increased and for the better. So Yojana also mentioned that people were going to watch like even older films and catalogs. Suddenly there's a need to dub them in different languages because you want to go into some other territory.
Yeah.
So the job for musicians, sound engineers, and all is also increased in that way. So obviously, like you can't expect the pay scales to be the same as film yet. But I think once it settles down, then it's you're only going to go forward. And it's pretty interesting, and it's been a good time. I agree.
Excellent. And that's a point I want to carry forward to Mohit as well. I mean, Mohit, you have been part of a platform which is like a sort of a publishing platform, which I think probably are the ones which mushroomed up and also flourished in this kind of time. But having said that, did the pandemic really have an effect? Because you guys would always work. There was always an option to work remotely. There was always an option to do it from anywhere in the world. But how has there been any effect on your side of things?
Um, uh, we can call pandemic maybe as a blessing in disguise. Since a lot of movie releases actually got paused and got on hold. The independent music scene has risen like anything. Like it's coming up and up and up, and a lot of even commercial artists, commercial music artists, and independent artists, both the sectors are enjoying this entire stream very much. They're coming up with infinite amounts of music, and it's flooding the streaming scene as well. Like so, yeah, some things have changed, but some things have got better as well. Like
I understand, and this is where I'm going to plug the point that I'm trying to make, which is that I wouldn't say these careers are pandemic proof careers, but there are certainly pandemic resistant careers that we can certainly find a way to work around this. I mean, it's actually true for all the industries. It's not of course not retail, but I mean they can move online as well. But with our industry, it's certainly that the demand has really jumped, because wherever there's a crisis, I mean, you see World War I or World War II, the arts sort of rose to the rescue of the masses. And that's I don't want to put it so romantically, but that's exactly what's happening now, that we are the saviors and we are spearheading this change and this evolution. But yeah, enough of my daydreaming. But I want to really get into how like Chand mentioned, that earlier the artists were the ones who ran the studio. Okay. And then there was this, I remember, Chand, maybe around 2006 or 2007, if I'm not wrong, the management people started entering the business. There was obviously, it felt like oil and water in beginning, but I guess the industry evolved as well. I mean, this is more of a statement rather than a question. I'm just expressing what I felt, and you guys can completely correct me if I'm wrong. But I think over the next 15 or 12 or 15 years, we really found a way where management people can also specialize in media. They can have that kind of mindset. They can have that kind of objectivity, because usually as artists, we are we are so involved in things that sometimes it's really important for us to step back, someone see that data, analyze that data, interpret it, and probably find either a new way of working, which is like the production side of things, or a new way of packaging things, which is like the marketing side of things. And do you guys, I mean, Yojana, is that something, do you think that's something which is agreeable, or do you think managers have really made a difference into how things operate now?
I guess, yeah. I mean, since I'm coming from creative background, it's kind of a tricky question because creativity doesn't require any qualification.
Yeah.
If you have seen, I mean, people who are just 10th pass or have no education could also do miracles in industry.
Yeah.
So that way, your vision, your creativity matters a lot. No formal education even required. That is what the situation, I guess. Before we can say 10 years or so also, and even today it is existing. I'm not saying it is completely not there, but of course when we are saying management people or management trainees are entering into media, how it is going to make impact, or in the media sector, or especially in the creative areas, because I'm coming from that background, so I would prefer to talk on that more. So creative, for creativity, of course, you need to be a evolved person, well read, well versed person. That is the basic criteria for anyone. Even if you have formal education of media or not, it doesn't matter, but you have to have a well read person, well versed person, and evolved test. Basically, you have to have a very evolved test. You have to have a liking for all kind of content consumption. That is your part of the job, I would say. So it is not just important to create one content or show and put it on air and just wait for the response. It is also important that you have to understand the knack of the audience, taste of the audience, what they want, because yeah, this is a sector which runs on demand and supplement demand. That factor is also applicable here, and
Correct.
sometimes we have a scope that we create something completely different which no one has imagined ever, and we have a opportunity to showcase that kind of a creativity to larger scale of audience.
Right.
So here you will find both the things, and that's why I feel ki there can be a good synergy if management trainees will come here, because discipline will come. One structured or organized work can happen. uh, Data analysis is very important. So today
Right.
management people are very good in data analysis,
Right.
which is also very important for media, because these days if you see the kind of content consumption is happening in mobile also. I mean, doesn't matter you're staying in a metro city or a remote area, in a village, you are able to consume whatever content you want to.
Exactly.
So that's the reason this data analysis is very, very important. And I guess for that, to understand the taste of this larger scale audience is very important for such
Understood.
people. I mean, they can do good research about it. We generally take inputs from research team. So channel, how do the channel operates, television channel? So we take inputs from the research people who are from the management background.
Right.
So they do this analysis. So for example, if one content, one show is really doing well in terms of TRP, so how do we come to the conclusion that the show is well received? There are a lot of parameters, like uh, in which area it performed well, what is the age group.
Right.
Age group may be like what is their socio-economic status. If one show is well received by audience, then there is an audience mapping of that show. Then as per that, if you have a lot of urban crowd in your content creation, your focus will be changed. If you have a lot of rural audience who is liking your content, your focus will be changed. So
Right.
accordingly, we make such changes. So there is a very good synergy of this research strategy people, research and strategy people, and content creators.
Right. Yujna, you also made a very interesting point yesterday when we were speaking, and that sort of makes the research job complex as well as exciting. You said that the same, probably not the same group of audience, but a similar group of audience can like a song like Rickshawala, but a
Correct.
similar group of people can like a classical song like Katyar Karzat, which is like a
Correct.
very well composed and from a
Correct.
classical
Correct.
perspective. How in that scenario will a research or a strategy person or someone like you would
Yeah, exactly.
utilize?
So that's the reason I started with. So if we only go with data analysis, our data will talk that Rickshawala is the topmost song in Marathi, maybe.
Yeah.
Okay, or similar song, that this is what is working for masses. So for one who is creating a new content, that this data is available. But for one who wants to create a good perception and long lasting content, have to also understand the real taste of audience. that sustainability of that kind of a content, because
Right.
such songs will come and go, but few songs or some work will remain there forever, which becomes your identity. And especially when you're working for big brands, such IPs are more important. I mean, you have to work like you have to create a IP. You
Mm.
just don't need to create a content. I have created something this week. I got a great TRP. My job is done. Sometimes it is important, but as well as it is also very important how you're focusing on the brand building
Correct. Correct.
while creating content. And these two are completely different thing. I mean, only creative person can't take care of this.
Right.
There has to be some strategy, there has to be some research involved, there has to be some evolved taste, which I was mentioning. So
Right.
even if you are a trained media professional from MBA background, and so you have to have that basic understanding of the content and that evolved taste.
Wow.
Otherwise your data will say rickshawala works and you will never able to work on the really good projects.
Excellent, excellent.
Yeah.
This is no longer a webinar. It's turning out to be a masterclass, and so thanks for all those inputs. But speaking about IP, I mean, Chand, I guess you have worked on one of the most recognizable IPs, which is Chhota Bheem, and I just want to check: are they like these kind of FMCG or omelette job kind of content which you do, and then there is this content which really becomes iconic and becomes an IP, and how do you as an executive producer know which content can go as an omelette job or which content can become an IP? Do you have any strategies, or what's the managerial, or I would say the creative producer approach to these kind of things?
Zero, no idea. Because honestly, I'll tell you why.
Yeah.
I'll address it two levels. I think
Mm.
one is, first is creativity and artistry management are two sides of the same coin. I don't think we
Right.
can separate them.
Right.
So just quantitative analysis and qualitative analysis are very important in our industry.
Mm.
I think when someone has to say which IP works, whether it is a Bheem or a Peppa Pig or Bal Ganesha, and all of those, what do you know? Because qualitative analysis wise, there are so many parameters to go through.
Mm.
I think it is like understanding the need, as Yojana said, what the audience is liking, having a repetitive push of that kind of creates a habit that converts to a certain and it's the same for everything, right? Whether it is food or it is music or it is IPs or characters.
Right.
I think regular visibility has worked. So the only thing that can be predicted, I would say, in predictive analysis and IP, is that if you keep showing something regularly in the same way, in the same genre, then people will get habituated, and many times that habit might convert into a trend to make it a hit, in that way. If you make one thing, and again, I might be wrong in today's world, where just one Rasode Mein Kya Tha becomes a big hit compared to someone regularly sending content every
Right.
now and then. But I also wanted to reflect back on what you said, and then you responded, is that it is not necessary that craftsmanship and artist management need be two different people.
Right.
So I feel if we are looking at craftsmanship, because our industry is that of craftsmanship.
Mm.
In some way or the other, we are all from the artistry background.
Mm.
We all started from there and now are in a managerial position because we have realized that we need to hone the skills, manage it, and then plan it in a way that it can be scaled up. At an individual level, it could be for the individual's benefit. Like the independent artist, like Mohit said, with certain amount of right managerial skills, knowing their TG, understanding predictive analysis,
Right.
can become a 70 million NFT artist player in the market.
Right.
Or you need to think at a little higher level, where if you're working with a larger team, part of a corporate, part of a brand, then how we can support the craft, which is not with myself, but around me, so that I can do good to the brand. I think I wanted to just bring around these two parts, and the same goes for IP as well. Not the IP alone. It's everything around it, the right distribution, the right push, regular content, and the right syndication, anything else around it of licensing, merchandising. Beam's popularity lies in the fact that you turn a corner and you'll see something related to Beam somewhere. You know, whether it's a shop or a street corner or
Absolutely.
out there. I think that helps. That helps.
Absolutely. Wow. I mean, I agree to that because I keep traveling a lot by road, and every village, even in the village I go to, I see a Beam poster, at least one. And I think that's the power of a storytelling, and executive producers like you make it happen. But does that stand true in the music industry as well, Puneet? I mean, we were speaking yesterday, and you spoke about a project that you did for BBC, and there were certain new technologies that you were hoping would happen in the last 10 years, but you weren't able to pinpoint that this was it. And essentially, this is what initiated the pandemic, initiated that kind of technology.
Yeah, so see, technology is definitely there, and the thing is, we have to make the best of it because we can't fight it, right?
Yeah.
So a lot of project management tools, which I'm seeing, which are being used, on a daily basis, even by creative people. So knowing all of that can help you organize, things better even for yourself. Those small things make a huge difference. Like. We were so used to doing stuff in front of each other or on the calls. Now people are working at their own time, actually work from home. People stay with family, their own thing. So simple management tools and just putting yourself under one of those simplifies the life a lot more, and it also makes it quite transparent to communicate. So like even advertising, like 5-6 years, the trend became that WhatsApp groups used to be formed, and mixes would get uploaded, and directors and producers would comment on that and approvals to the studio. So it was really frustrating as technicians, people working, because you want people to consume things the right way. Like there's no point judging a mix on a pair of headphones. But now with work from home being taken very seriously, now a talk happens before what is your expectation from us and vice versa. And using these tools, just informing people that this is what all of us are going to do, and this is what all of us should listen to it on, and then this simplifies things a little, to quite an extent.
Understood.
So yeah. So one point I'd like to make is, while technology has made things easier for us, the challenge is no more, how to execute, like to make a good track. Everyone knows, but now discovery has suddenly become a key, because you'll have so much good content out there. But how do you reach out? I think that's where, what Yojana said and Chance like inputs, they are truly valid, because you need analysis and all, and you need the support of that, because you can either naturally have a side to it, or you should work with the right kind of people who can do that for you, which is where I think management comes into play.
Right. Yeah, great. I mean, Puneet mentioned about discovery and all that, and that's essentially what publishing houses and platforms do, right, Mohit? I mean, you have these wonderful bank of artists who are out there now, and a publishing house or a platform like that is essentially a conduit to connect all these artists to the plethora of opportunities which are out there. I mean, I know we spoke yesterday about Netflix launching a sound department, and there are platforms such as Audio Network and all these people who really, I mean, you can compose music, but then there's this world of music out there, which so in terms of that, how do music managers or supervisors play a role? If I am a management graduate with a specialization in media, will I fit into that ecosystem at all?
Yeah, definitely. So I feel an ear for good music is equally important with the managing skills. And as Yojana said, like the trends are evolving, the public tastes are evolving.
Yeah.
So there's a really good example like future-based music or electronic music or even lo-fi music. is moving right now in India, but it already existed in various parts of the world.
Right.
So when it started to increase in the demand started increasing in India, musicians knew how to create that sort of music. They started
Right.
making music. But managers were the actual guiding light for all of these musicians. They took their tracks and pitched it to the right platforms and made sure that the music is heard and played on the right label or the right web series or
Right.
whatever. So they literally become the only light in the dark. So a musician can easily come up with a track, one track, 10 track, thousands of tracks. A manager or a music manager or a music supervisor are the people who basically take these songs and get it placed on the right content, like on the right sync part or just an audio release. But they are the ones who take the responsibility to you know take the content to some higher level than just
Right.
keeping it in a computer for God knows how many years.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess, I mean, there's a book I'm reading recently, and that's what they say, that the democratization of everything is happening now. That earlier there were only a few places where you would go and you would, would hope that you would get a break. But now you create and it's out there. I mean, I'll give you one example on my side. Everyone has seen the series Entourage, which is like one of my favorite series. And in the end scroll, I would see there's a music supervisor. I was like, there's a composer, there's a music director, who's a supervisor. And then I knew that those were probably not one of the first, but one of the pioneers in the television space who actually sourced music from all these other this thing. And the music would fit so well. And I would say, who is this composer who composes this music exactly for that situation? And the thing is that it was really crowdsourced. I don't know if that's the right term, but it was like, all these platforms got that together. But yeah, so I guess, I mean, Chand, again, you were saying yesterday that I wouldn't put words in your mouth, but you were mentioning about these opportunities which come and these opportunities which exist. And Yojana, you as well mentioned. But the lacuna is that finding the right combination of someone who has the right balance of left and right brain, that they have the creativity, but they are also good managers. So I can see while listening to you that probably there's an opportunity for these people now more than ever to enter the industry and find a place.
Yeah, I can go first, Yojana, if it's fine with you. But I just said I was trying to hear and write. I think what we need is for people to do the RT-PCR test. I mean, this is one term that none of us never knew about, and it's like embedded within us. RT-PCR, the order could change, but be patient with me. I think one of my fellow panelists as well. So, reports and reporting, tools and technology, passion, communication, and being responsible. I think for anyone who is coming in, passion is the first thing in this industry. You're not going to only deal with Excel sheet. We're going to deal with people who hate Excel sheets as well.
Yeah.
So in order to do that, you need to be passionate to understand that the purpose is the same. In the end, we are going to do the best film, the best music, or the best art, something like that in there. Communication, little difficult part when it comes to the people with the right crafts, right? So they need help. And it's just that whether it's a language or it is the framing of words or writing an email, I think these are key areas where someone who is more from the managerial side can help and support. When I said supporting the craftsmanship in there. Passion coming and responsible. Now, the responsibility of a manager, like the responsibility of me, does not cease with only my work. It extends along to my team. So once you are there, many times, if you're not a supervisor as such, then the R, and hence in RT-PCR, there are 2 R's. That responsibility reflects in the reports. I mean, the managers need to know how to read reports, make reports, and analyze reports. Right. Just making a report for the sake of reporting is just because your boss needs it. Okay. But what we do based on that analysis of the reports is, I think, in my experience, how I have identified stars in my team and knew that, okay, this guy can not only make reports, but analyze it and implement actions based on those reports, which many a times the team that we have, which is a creative team, is so involved in their work, they find it difficult to take a step back. Tools and technology, we live in the world of digital age right now. We couldn't be running a team spread across 8 cities across the world in 4 time zones and delivering one project which is across the all time zone for a broadcaster which is in different parts of the country in there, if we did not have the right tools and technology. So I think doing the RT-PCR tests regularly, I think, is a good way to hone the skills that you might need for this. And unfortunately, I don't think there are trained production managers in here. We do not have enough. We struggle to find production managers. People would say, this you learn in the trade. I mean, you can't learn in the trade right now. There are enough platforms. There is a need. And it's an organized business now. It's no longer a only unorganized business, whether it is an indie filmmaking, art, or music, or it is a large scale.
Right.
So we definitely need more and more people who are skilled to be managers in media management. Then someone who comes in, tries to create music, is not able to create music, so he decides to be a producer of the music. So I think those days are passing.
Excellent. Yojana, do you agree with that? You're on mute. Sorry, I think you're on mute. If I'm not wrong. No, I think your audio is gone for some reason. I don't know what is happening. I think your audio is gone. But yeah, I mean, I can move that question to Mohit or Puneet. Does that also stand true in your industry? Because I know the music industry sort of works slightly differently.
Mohit, you want to take this?
Sure. So I do agree with what Chand pointed out, and it's not just one sort of manager these days. There are positions, and there are not even positions, but actually requirements for so many different forms of managers. Like there's a supervisor, there's a curator, there's a artist manager, then there's a coordinator, and every one of those people have managerial skills. They know how things need to be done. And so this is established also because so there was a saying at some point that an artist must be able to manage himself, do all of his tasks on his own. But what eventually happened was the creativity started decreasing, the quality of creativity dropped. So again, this practice got established where managers are taking care of all the other tasks so that artists can only concentrate on creativity, creation of this. And I guess Puneet also agrees with this.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Great. Usually we're just going to check whether your audio is back or no. Unfortunately, we can't. At least I can't hear. You guys can hear?
No.
Maybe you can log off and log back, Yojana, once.
Yeah. So
I'm not sure if the RT-PCR test didn't work. I'm not very sure.
Excellent. This is turning out to be a very enriching session, and I would hate myself if I didn't open this up for question and answers just for some time. I know you're very busy people, and thank you again for joining us. But if there are any questions in the audience, you can just unmute yourself and either raise a hand or unmute yourself and directly ask the question. We'll also wait for Yojana to join back. Any questions, anyone? Just, I mean, no question is a wrong question. You can just ask. I
have a question, Sam. I have a question for No, for Puneet, maybe I think this
Yeah.
question go for him. I was always curious to know. I mean, when I would go to get the sound mixing done from films, then you always needed a studio. The independent sound engineering and mixing is not very prolific, right? You definitely need a big studio and all that. How do you do that remote? I mean, can you actually move those sliders on a sound mixing studio without going to a studio?
Yeah, so basically, see, with technology, it's shrunk, right? We don't really need those big boards and that big space anymore. So these days, as you'd be probably aware, even you can do your surround and atmos mixes in smaller spaces. So generally, you balance it. Like the way I also work remotely is, see, a lot of it is stuff that you can do, at your own time, like laying down the tracks and putting it, and like about 80-85% you can accomplish in your home studios, and only to do the final QC, because studios are expensive, and spending time in them, and the cost of making a full soundproof one. So at least about 80-85% work can be done at home, and then the remaining 10-15% happens in studios. So that's probably the trend which is on right now. Like you do 80% in a budget studio, and then you just book the final studio for a couple of days to go and do the touch ups. So yeah, that's how majority of us are functioning right now.
Thanks, Puneet.
Excellent. You're not just checking whether your audio is back. No, I think there's some issue from your side. No, but it's okay. No worries. Yeah, this was a fantastic session. I really want to thank everyone, Yojana, Chan, Puneet, Mohit. I can't thank you enough. And on such a short notice, I just called you and you guys agreed to do it. So I truly appreciate this on behalf of CMEDU, DY Patil and the PGDM program. We obviously want this to be a ongoing association in some kind of way. If you guys can help us out, just talking to our students sometimes, or maybe if some of our students wants to do internships, or maybe ask you some questions, some guidance. And if you're willing, if you have the time, we would love to hear from you again. I'm just going to announce for the final time if there are any questions. If you have any questions, please go ahead. We'll wait for 30 seconds more, or else we'll conclude the talk.
Yeah, Aditya, this is
Yes. Who is it? Aditya? Yeah, Aditya, please go ahead.
Yeah, I would like to ask a question. Is this 2 years of education important to cope up with that field, or there will gonna take more years to get stable in that industry?
Sorry, आदित्य तुझा आवाज नीट क्लिअरली आला नाही. तू परत बोलू शकतोस का?
Yes. Hello, am I audible now?
Yes.
Yeah, is these 2 years of education important? Is enough for me to be in that field, or to make sure that I will do something in that field, or it will take more years?
We will see if Yojana ma'am's audio is back. We'll try and check.
Am I audible?
Yes, finally. Yes. We're so happy that you're back.
Very sorry for this.
That's all right.
Yeah. Yes, Samir.
So basically, he was asking that whether this formal education would help, or will he be at least a starter or a mid place after he finishes the 2 years of PGDM, or will that will it take him longer to learn things?
Okay.
I mean, yeah. So since he was asking.
So basically, yes, formal, as I mentioned earlier, formal education in media is of course very important. Now it's about the time, how much time you should invest in education before entering to media. So that is something depends on the area you are going to be expertise in. So which field you are selecting for that is very important. What you want to do, because there are a lot of operations in media. where you can enter as a management trainee and all. And generally, what we do is when we new management trainees approach us, so we select as per their test, as per their liking, as per their ability. We try to shift them in all departments. We try to give them experience in all departments like business analysis, strategy, research, creative, everything. And then we plan them to work on something particularly. So for this, if you're very sure when you are getting education, because these days I guess students are very clear ultimately what they want to do. The confusion is not there in this generation now, so they are very clear before entering into media, like what I want to do and how I want to go ahead. Earlier, there was a very big confusion because no one knows where we can go, how I can lead towards my destination, and what is the destination actually. That was also not really clear. So, fortunately, now these things are very clear. Students are pretty clear. So, it depends on where you want to go, what you want to be ultimately.
Mhm. Right, exactly. And if I may add on Aditya, on what Yojana ma'am said, is that if you have that formal education, because if you do a PGTM, there would be already industry experts teaching that program to you, so they know where the industry exists. Earlier, there used to be a disconnect between academicians and who works in the industry. Now that thing is bridged. So for example, in a PGTA program, you can have Puneet sir or Chand sir or Yojana ma'am probably come and give you a workshop or a series of classes, and that happens in institutes. So, and especially with PGDM with us, that's what the plan is. So it will already, like when we entered the industry, we had to do like probably 6 years or a year, 6 months or a year of unpaid work and internship and all that.
Yeah.
And then probably after 1.5 2 years, we would be somewhere where our boss would consider us ki, acha isko episode edit karne ko do, ya shoot karne ko do, ya compose karne ko do, ya whatever. Now if you do this course, you have already crossed that line. You already know things, you have already done projects, you have already done assignments, and then you immediately become attractive as a candidate to a VFX studio, CG studio, or a OTT platform, or a channel, or a music publishing house. And then you have all these options open in front of you.
Yeah.
And correct me if I'm wrong, Yojana Chand.
No, absolutely correct.
And I'd just like to add that for us, we have hundreds of production EP, HOPs, production managers, production coordinators, department managers, artist managers, like Mohit said. So it by itself, I would say, is a career choice of media production management. Like we have at least 6 positions vertical and 4 lateral, way that you can move around and grow in the way that you could do this. Now, Technicolor has to run its own academy to train people of the industry, to train them in certain production management standards to be able to use them like they do for other crafts. So this is a shortest 10-week programs that we do, just so that it's like like an orientation before you start going live. But if we have someone baked in the trades and the craft of management, who understands what scheduling means, understands the difference between short scheduling to marathon scheduling, understands the key do's and don'ts that like you should know when to say no, you should know when to no, say yes, know your scope, know the story, know your schedule. So
Right.
now these things, if can be taught, like you know how to make music or how to make film, then that's like a perfect thing for us. So as much as we can, Sam, individually or in terms of from on behalf of both our Mumbai unit and Bangalore unit, love to collaborate more and interact more with the students and see what we can do together.
Excellent. Wonderful. Yeah, let's bake that education in, I guess. So let's change that term to something positive. Excellent. All right. So I'm gonna just give another 20 seconds before we wrap this up, if there are any more questions. I guess this really turned out to be a masterclass in the entire ecosystem of across TV, music, VFX, CG. I wish I had this class when I was starting out 20 years ago. So, all right. So thank you, Yojana, Chand, Mohit, Puneet. I truly appreciate this. I can't thank you enough. It might actually seem that I'm being dramatic, but I truly, truly appreciate you guys giving your time. I hope you enjoyed as much as I did and everyone did. We wish that to have more talks with you, maybe even if possible, if you're willing, workshops or something like that, master classes. And we would really like to see you again, is all I'm saying. All right.
Thank you so much, Sam. Always a pleasure.
Thank you so much. Very kind of
Thank
you.
you so much.
Thanks, Yojana.
Thank you.
All right, Puneet, Mohit. See you,
Bye.
all of you. You
Thank
take care.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Connect again.
Thank you, everyone.
Take care.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Bye.